Petrus, hi. Welcome to Australia.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Where did you do your quarantine, and when did you get out of it on Saturday and then went straight to the game? It was one hell of an introduction.
Yeah, no. Look, it took a fair few months to get here, and rightly so with the current situation that we're in. Got bumped off quite a few flights and got here eventually, and quarantined in Sydney city centre. Got really well looked after. Your government's doing a really good job to everybody who's coming in, and quarantined for 2 weeks, and then I got released on the morning of the game. So yeah, it was a big day at the office on my first day, but I've been obviously working a lot with the front rowers remotely. I would probably say I'm probably the first international coach to coach via Zoom, but I've enjoyed that, and the boys have taken stuff on board really well. And when I got here, it was just a quick handshake, and off they went, get ready for the game. And then I got stuck into them, and they went out and played.
What was your impressions, your first up impression, seeing them live? How the scrum performed? Is it only the scrum that you're doing, or are you doing lineouts or?
Yeah, no. So I look. First of all, the coaches here, we all work. We all cross over. So I would, oversee some of the training drills, etc. in the forge, whether it's lineouts or whatever. And then when we do the whole team session, I would take guys and work with them as well. And then I would do mainly the scrum, which is a passion. So you're coming back to your question. I thought we've got an impressive, athletic bunch of young guys coming through in Australia, and it's a massive pleasure to work with them. I believe the way they're going now, they're gonna be quite heavily featured for the future in World Rugby in the front row. So I'm really excited.
Thanks.
Can we just get to know you a little bit? Can you talk about your past, a bit of your history? I've read a little bit that you're a physio, but you've worked at the NHS, and may have even had a sister during the COVID period.
Yeah, so obviously South African born, but I would say past school, just after school, I went over to the UK, spent 20 years there. So I'll probably class myself, British, from a playing point of view. I played championship rugby while I thought it was important for me to get a qualification. I studied 4 years physiotherapy at Salford University, from which I then worked a short period in the NHS. I was quite late to go in pro, I suppose. Took that jump and played 8 years at Saracens, and then 2 years at London Irish and 2 years at Glasgow Warriors with Dave Rennie. And in that time, I've learned obviously the dark arts, the hard way and the best possible way, and have worked with some unbelievable players and mentored and coached quite a few unbelievable players, guys you'd see in the England and South African setup like Vincent Koch and Mako Vanapola, etc. And then obviously did a lot with Scotland and Glasgow Warriors. So the coaching craft was always there, the mentoring side, and obviously the playing side finished in January. The body has probably had enough, but I've enjoyed every minute of playing pro in the UK.
Why do you think Dave Rennie fought for you to bring you over all this way?
Well, we had conversations with regards to. Look, I think when I first went to Glasgow Warriors, no disrespect to anyone in particular, but the scrum wasn't, a massive set piece feature for the team, and probably wasn't very highly ranked in Europe. And I came in and made a huge difference. I think we ended in the top 5 in Europe last year. Scrum wise, developed young players. My physio background plays a massive role. Physiotherapy is basically movement analysis, so that background helps me massively. I'm an expert in neck strengthening, etc. That helps massively in the scrum. core strengthening, etc. So if you put all that together with the fact that I've only recently played, which I know the rules, the new scrum rules inside out, I've stuck my head in those dark places. And if you put all that together, then that's where the conversation led with Dave, and Dave felt that he said to me in his own words, I relate well to all ages and props and front rows from all different backgrounds, so he liked that, and he liked the way I presented and get the message across. And so we had an honest discussion, and I said to him, look, if the chance occurred, I would follow you to Australia, and that's what happened.
Petrus, what did you, watching from afar, what did you make of the Wallabies scrum, mate? I'm sure you've obviously had a very good look at it in the last 3 or 4 years, but what did you make of it when you had it for the detailed look at it, and where do you think it's at after sort of a few games watching?
Look, the Wallabies, the Wallaby scrum is always be there or thereabouts. They didn't have a bad World Cup campaign, but I suppose some people might say the scrum was just a restart of a set piece. And the thing is, we want to change is we want to make the scrum a weapon so that we can decide whether we attack or not, and we can manipulate the opposition so that we can attack much better. And I think that's the main thing for me. And the talent we've got at the minute is good enough to possibly have one of the best scrums in the world, I believe, from looking at what talent we have. And I'm pretty sure we've made good strides. The first game, you're always going to have a bit of reference interpretation with regards to free kicks, but the second Bledisloe Cup, we come away with a rubber the green, and then we had 100% ball in the last 2 games. So it's making good strides, and the guys are working hard for each other. And it's not always what us as coaches implement; it's how hard they can work and how well they can make it work.
And how do you rate the scrum from New Zealand?
Yeah, no, New Zealand's got a really solid scrum. We were looking at some of their players. If you take how many caps they've played together, making absolutely no excuses here, but they're a bunch of guys who's played together for quite a while, and they've got a solid scrum. They get good ball. We switched off a couple of times. They turned us, or not turned us over, but they got rewarded a penalty here and there. But overall, I thought it was a good matchup. I thought in the second half we challenged them a lot more, which is good. So they are a good side, and it'd be interesting to see how Argentina go as well, and then of course some of the bigger European teams. So that'd be a nice challenge for us.
Petrus, we often see South African rugby, English rugby, the type 5 likes to hang on to the ball a bit more, work it around the side of the ruck. Other than the scrums, is that something that you'd like to see Australian rugby do a little bit more?
Yeah, look, I think ball retention is pretty important. Something that we probably could have been a little bit better at on the weekend. But look, I think the style of play that Dave Rennie is bringing in, we want to play attractive rugby and with good skill sets and good go forward. So, like any team, we've had honest discussions this weekend, and we're going to fault correct most of it, and we'll grow and learn from those bit of mistakes. And just from a coaching point of view, if you actually look at the stats, and you take sort of the defense and the scoreboard, the defense was actually really good because there was a lot of big hits, but obviously the scoreboard wouldn't reflect that because we gave 2 easy tries away with obviously not even touching anyone. So fair play to the New Zealanders, but look, we're training hard, we fault correcting, and we're looking forward to the next challenge.
Anything else, guys?
Petrus, I was just wondering what your impressions of Taniela Tupou are.
Yeah, look, he's a phenomenal athlete. Probably one of the strongest props I've ever come across. I don't think they make props small and petite anymore. They come in bigger packages now. So his future is extremely bright. He's learning really, really well. We felt corrected quite a few things. I mean, from a scrum point of view, to have Taniela be less vulnerable to refs' interpretation, and he showed real good courage to change that. And I feel, from here onwards, we'll see a different picture from him, and hopefully a nice bit of dominance. Now he's a phenomenal athlete. Australia's really happy to have him.